Hi everyone, I'm Haojing and today I'm going to present my final project. My final project is focusing on the exploration of the policing in NYC related to the criminal cases geographically. So first, I will just review some background. NYC is the collection of the Manhattan, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, and Staten Island. And from the crime statistics released by the NYPD, New York City is facing a murder rate that is 50% higher than before, and the shooting rate doubled since 2018. Next, I will go over my QHPT. So my question is what elements may impact the crime rate in New York City, and I have two hypotheses and two predictions. So the first hypothesis is that the area with more trees will have a great impact on the crime rate in New York City, and the second hypothesis is the shopping malls will have a great impact on the crime rate in New York City. And my first prediction is the area with more trees is easier for the victim to hide and rob, which is more easier to is hidden. And the second prediction is the people who go shopping in the top 10 malls in New York City have the higher risk to be robbed. So I will go over my data preparations. So my first data is the NYC census tract by the boundary of the police precinct, and the second one is the crime data from the New York City urban data. I filter only the type of the crime to be the robbery. And the third data is the tree data, the column that include all the trees ID and their locations. And the last data I use is the New York City mall data. I chose those 20 shopping malls from the Google with their different locations. So let's see what map I did. The first one, I create a static map for the tree density, so we can see that the area near the Central Park has a higher density of trees than other places. And the second static map I made is a crime count by the census tract. So as you can see there, the Bronx has a very high crime rate, but the Manhattan right now is not very high, as well as some part of the Brooklyn. So now I'm gonna introduce my interactive map. The first map here is the tree density map in New York City, and I have two layers here. The first one is a tree density, and the second one is a crime count in 2018. And I use the cluster here to show more than 10,000 points from the Central Park and the Upper Town in Manhattan, close to the Bronx. They have a higher tree density and also more crime cases than other places. So let's go back. So the second map is a map of the count of crime by distance I made. So I just jump to this one. From the shopping, the yellow circle here is the shopping mall, and I use ST distance and filter the crime cases that happens inside the 1 kilometers from the shopping malls, and mark them in the different colors, from the red one and orange one. And there are more, and we can see that there are more points assembled around each shopping mall. For example, like near the Central Park, there's 3 shopping mall, and we can see that the crime count happened near this shopping mall is obviously that more than other places. And also for the Manhattan Square over there and the Soho in here. And also for it's very, very clear to see that in the Brooklyn, the Macy's, so they also have a very higher crime count over those circles area. So let's go back to my PowerPoint. Then I did the test using the linear regression model. The first model is built with X represent the tree density, and Y is the number of crime. This is a scatter plot, and obviously there's no relationship between these two variables. And the result of the model that the p-value is very high and the adjusted r-square is very low, which means that this model is bad. There's no relationship between these two variables. And in the second test, I also did the linear model with x equal to the distance from the mole and y equal to the number of crime. And that scatter plot with a smooth line on it shows that there's a trend between these two variables. The closer distance to the shopping mall, the higher crime rate will happen. And if you're far from the shopping mall, the crime rate will decreasing. And also for the summary table for my linear regression model, we got a very high r-square variable around 73%, and the p-value is very low, which means the model is pretty good. So here comes to my conclusion. So from my first hypothesis, we got there's no relationship between the tree density and the number of crime. And for my second hypothesis, we can show by testing that, and on the map we can conclude that there's a relationship between the distance from the shopping mall and the number of crime. Thank you.